So we have fuel pressure, we have main burner pressure, we have pilot pressure, we have water in the boiler, we have water in the tank. So we are ready to go. And we're going to light the pilot. Now, other things to check before we do that. Make sure the e-brake is set. Emergency brake is set. The pressure retaining valve, we're going to leave closed for now. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Throttle is fully opened to allow expanding air and steam that we initially create through the throttle lines. And over here on the right-hand side of the car, the drip valve is open. So we'll come around to the front. Hood is up. Lid is up on the flue. We have the ever important fire extinguisher and our propane torch. Now, I'm going to open the pilot valve up here on the dash. There's a secondary pilot valve at the front of the car, which is closed and will remain closed for now. But the pilot valve on the dash is open. And put our propane torch in this little hole right here to preheat the pilot. And preheating the pilot, it's going to take a minute or two before we open the valve. So I've been preheating the pilot here for a couple of minutes now, 2 or 3 minutes. And with the torch still in the hole, we open the pilot valve. We're going to go about 1.25 turns here. You'll hear a hiss, and if I can peek in that hole, you'll see a nice strong blue flame. I don't know if you'll be able to get a shot of that blue flame or not. I'll stand in a second. Yeah? Okay. So the pilot now is preheating this heat sink and the branch forks for us, and getting everything nice and warm in preparation for firing. So we're going to let the pilot burn and preheat things for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. All right, while we're waiting for the pilot to warm things up, I thought we would come over and look at the water level gauge over here. This shows us the amount of water in our tank, in our water tank. And as you can see, the level is right about here, which for the distance we're going to drive today is just fine. So we've pushed the car outside because we're about to make a really big fire. And the pilot has been lit for a few minutes now. Everything's getting to be kind of warm in here, too warm to hold your hand onto. But we'd like it to be a little hotter before we actually light the main burner. So we're going to use our old torch to put a little flame on the branch forks here, and this heat sink at the end of the vaporizer to help the fuel vaporize when we light the main burner. We have a fire up valve up here which allows us to use pilot fuel to actually light the main burner, to initially light the main burner. I'm going to step up inside the car for a second. Our fire up valve is right here, and when we crack this, we're sending pilot fuel to the main burner, and we should get a fire out front. I hear a sound. Yep, we have a fire. So right now we're burning pilot fuel, and I'm going to let this burn for just a few seconds to make sure we have a good fire established before we close the fire up valve and open the main burner valve and switch over to our main burner. All right, so we're at just about 200 pounds of steam, which is not a bad time to think about going for a drive. So I'm going to close the hood. All right, we're at 200 pounds of steam. There we go.